Guys, we somehow ended up in New York City. We drove overnight, no sleep at all, but as you can see already behind us is a 911 Speedster. Sorry, I don't really have any free hands, but we're at some car show that honestly I didn't research at all. I don't know what's here, and already I'm very pleasantly surprised because in front of me is a very, very cool car. Now you guys know exactly what this is because we reviewed one of these on the channel almost in the same spec, but this is a 911 SD. Again, this thing randomly popped up behind us because we pulled in that E39 M5. We drove overnight in it from Toronto to New York City. But look at this 911 SD. We have a Land Rover Defender. We have another 911. The Speedster that we just saw. I mean, who knows what else is in this car. So there's so many cars pulling in. And right now, we're just about to walk in. This is not the show. I did not have expectations like this of this show. I thought this was a turbo, but now looking closer, this is a 997 GT2. We have a turbo there. We have just crazy cars absolutely everywhere. BMW M, the hatchback, the clown shoe, but in front of that, definitely not something I expected to see. A CLK 63 Black Series. These things are so freaking rare. We never even got them in Canada, so it's crazy to see one in the US. You know, honestly, I can't believe we haven't even got to the show yet, and the level of cars that we're seeing is insane. And it's not just very expensive cars, it's very unique, very tasteful cars. Now, if you guys are very long time viewers, you will know that our first video ever was driving a 997 GT2 in speed yellow. So look how it all comes around. We see another one because honestly I feel like I probably see more love Ferraris than I see 997 GT2s. Now look at that, a Targa Top NSX, a 0.1991 GT3RS in purple, and then another one right here in green. I feel like that's a wrap, but still pretty awesome. Huracan Serato. I mean, guys, this goes on, and we have not even gone into the show. The level of cars here, you know, you're not just seeing Porsches or you're not just seeing supercars. You're seeing very, very unique types of cars. So let's start over here. There's so many different types of cars here, but this M3 right here almost looks exactly like a CSL with the carbon fiber roof, even the bumpers right here. It's not a CSL, unfortunately, but I really like the build. We have another clown shoe right here. Look at this. Even like anything from German cars to a 512M and FF, like more cars there. This is honestly crazy. I had no expectations for anything like this. Now, no, this is not a GTO, it's a GTB, but man, does the spec really look like it? I mean, the dark red, the black roof, even the seats are kind of like the bucket seats that you would see normally in a GTO. But, you know, I gotta respect it. It's a very clean looking car next to this 296. And here again, we see the 997 GT2. Incredible car with the proper seats, the carbon buckets. You have to get your Porsche with the carbon buckets, I'm telling you. So crazy thing I just found out about this 599 while talking to the owner. This is actually the last 599 to leave the factory, and what that allowed them to do is pretty much option anything they possibly wanted on the car. So that's why the seats are like a GTO, and the roof and everything looks pretty much like a GTO. And even the stitching, if you look, you can kind of see there's red stitching, but it's not your regular red. It's exactly the same red as the paint on the car. So this is probably the most custom 599 GTB you could possibly ever get. But yeah, guys, the SD is such a great car. Almost exactly the same as the one we drove. Can't say enough good things about this car. Then one of my favorites, the 991.2 GT3. This one's got a Martini livery, but this is probably the sweet spot of Porsche GT3s with the manual, because after that, not gonna lie, the manual was not great, but in this, it was just perfect. Then we got a 997 Turbo S, got a ton of 911s all around this circle right here. Now, I didn't realize this. So 997 GT2, I thought there was only one here, but give me 1 second. This is not the same one. I thought it was the same car, but this one's even more aggressive. Not only does it have the carbon buckets, the wheels are actually more aggressive, and it's got a full roll cage. And look at the inserts on the seats. I mean, this car is sick. Honestly, this one might be one of my favorite 997 GT2s I've ever seen, and I don't really like black cars. And of course, I think this is the most forgotten about variant of modern 911s, the 991.2 Speedster. Guys, this is a manual top-down GT3 RS. I don't know how this car is as cheap as it is. This car should be worth double what it is. Now, normally I'm not going to film a random SLK, but first of all, look at the plate. It's me. Almost a Shmee, but it's not Shmee, it's me. But then, look at this yellow on a green interior. I mean, what? This is so good. And then, parked next to a CLK Black Series, we have a Murcielago LP640 Roadster. I hope it's an LP640 because a lot of people change the bumpers and stuff, and the black in the bottom makes me a little worried, but the wheels make me pretty confident it is an LP640. It is an eager, but still super cool. This thing is sick. These things are honestly some of the coolest looking cars, and I think this is one of the only Lambos here today. Jason, what did you do to your car?
I drove from LA to New York.
And what did you hit on the way?
some stick came out of the side of the truck, and then it did that. So take a look. They dented the intercooler. The front plate saved it. Otherwise, it probably just would have just went through. Like,
Yeah, look at this dent right here.
there, and then down there too. Like, right there. There's a dent right there.
So guys, you might think R34, oh my god, it's so cool, but look at the duct tape right here. Now, look at 6 cars already filming on the side, but drove from California written on the duct tape. So from the coolest car here to the most beat up car here and the dirtiest car here for sure. These are California bugs. Now, as you guys notice, the cool thing about this meet is a very much, if you know type of cars, you know, the rare Porsches, Mercedes and stuff like that. Obviously, other than the types of cars that are behind us right now, the Ferraris, but most of it is like just really cool Porsches and stuff that normal people that are not true enthusiasts wouldn't know about. So it's like the people that are here and are actually getting impressed by these cars, they really know what they're looking at. And it's nice to see that it's not just about flash and about just trying to have the most expensive car here. It is about having a very unique car and something that really shows your passion. So as you guys see, we have the Strato right there up the stairs, but right down here we have the Dakar. For some reason didn't make it into the actual show, but kind of the two competitors, I don't know which one you guys would rather have. I'm not a big fan of either of them, but anybody I know that has either one of them is madly in love with them and can't stop saying good things about them. So I don't know, maybe at some point I got to drive one. So we saw the CLK Black Series inside the show, also in red, but the car that came after that is this, the C63 Black Series. And I gotta say, these were a little bit more common, but they're still so rare to see. We did get these in Canada, so we do see them a little bit more often. A lot of the ones you see are usually actually not real. I think this is definitely a real one, but honestly, what a badass car. Everyone is racing to get out of here first. But guys, don't worry, just because this meet is over, this meet is not as good as the one we're going to tomorrow. The one we're going to tomorrow, we've been to before a few years ago, and there was some insane cars that showed up, and I expect the same, especially for the end of the season on a great weekend. But look, GT2, I mean, everything here is so sick. The last 599 to leave the production line, 2011 with a bunch of GTO bits. It's kind of the most custom one you can make. So sick. Look at this lineup of absolutely great 997s. Like I keep saying it, but GT2, and then we got a 991.2 Speedster. I mean, also the wheels, by the way, these are like kind of like the more vintage looking wheels, but this car, I don't know how people don't talk about this. It seems like everybody forgot about them. You don't see them, you don't talk about them. It's an open top manual with a GT2RS engine. I honestly, I would love to drive one of these. I never asked for cars, but guys, if anybody has a 991.2 Speedster, I would love to try driving this thing. I feel like it would be the best 911 ever made potentially. So right now we are running on still not a lot of sleep, especially Jason in the R34. He's pretty much falling asleep at the wheel, but it's okay. But right now we're going to caffeine and carburetors in a very Jason fashion. We're running about 40 minutes late. 30.
Why we were late?
Why are we late?
The other guys couldn't get up.
That's true. The other guys couldn't get up. We got up at like 5:30 in the morning. By the time we left, it was like 7. So hopefully they still let us in. You know, I think probably the only R34 GTR there. I'm guessing.
No, there's another one.
There's another one?
Starbucks, actually.
Okay, so yeah, we'll see what's there, but this is gonna be a pretty good event. So we are almost at caffeine and carburetors. What kind of R32 is this, Jason? Because I don't know about these.
It's only Huayra. It's a Japanese tuner.
Okay, nice. Yeah, I don't know much about the JDM stuff, but when the R34, yeah, that does sound good actually. I gotta give it that, because this thing doesn't sound like anything.
It smells like shit though.
So guys, we just arrived at caffeine and carburetors. Honestly, I don't know what cars are here now. I'm not gonna lie, the video might seem repetitive because it's cars on grass, so every little piece of the car show might look the same, but it's gonna be completely different cars. Stick around, because honestly, at these type of shows, you never know if you're gonna see a Zonda or a LaFerrari or a EB110. Anything is possible here, so stick around. Let's go explore and find out what there is. So starting off here, first car that caught my eye is this Viper ACR. These cars are wild. Hopefully soon enough we'll be able to drive one of these on the channel, but you know, 8.4 liter V10, I think it's the biggest engine ever fitted to a production car. Obviously with a manual, these cars are just known for wanting to kill you and being super excited to drive. Now check this out. This is probably the craziest car here performance wise, if I had to guess, but twin turbo Gallardo Superleggera. If you guys know anything about modified supercars, probably the most potential you have with a car will be for a twin turbo Gallardo. So this is something you don't see every day. Now we know the 718 Spiders and the GT4s and all that, but the first car to kind of be like a track version of a Boxster Cayman chassis, I think was this, the Boxster Spider. So you know, obviously with BMW, you have your 3 Series, your 5 Series, your 7 Series, they go by size. So the 5 is kind of the middle, And everybody's been complaining about the new M5 being too big. And, you know, I never really cared until now. I see a new M5 this close to an E39. Look at the size difference. This thing seems like bigger than a 7 Series compared to the E39. I mean, I do think they might have gone overboard, even if you look at it compared to an M4. Look at that size difference. This car, like, it's gigantic. A little too big to make a performance car out of, in my opinion. When you like yellow, but you need some more yellow, but then again, just not enough yellow. So now we get to some series cars here at the Miller booth. We have the new Vantage right here, which kind of, in my opinion, looks like a 177 in the front. I really like that, but obviously we got to talk about the Pagani Huayra Roadster right here, because this Roadster is full carbon, but of course has the coolest piece that I think any Pagani could have, which is convertible with a roof scoop. I think that's probably the thing that makes any car as cool as possible, because you can hear the induction noise, plus you have the open top. I mean, this is awesome. I think it's like the Tempesta Package 2 on the Roadsters or something, but you get the wing, you get the roof scoop. Looks incredible, especially with the carbon fiber body. You know, can't hate a car like this. It honestly starts looking almost as aggressive as a Zonda. Next to the Huayra, there is this full carbon Bugatti Chiron, but the carbon is not as visible as it is on the Huayra, as you can see. So it's a lot more low-key. You have all these kind of little aluminum pieces, maybe you want to say chrome, but with the black badge as well. But honestly, sky view as well. The Chiron is such a great car, but personally, maybe it's because I grew up on them. Maybe it's just because it's a convertible, the specific one. But I think I like the Veyron better, especially this Grand Sport right here. Honestly, the car aged so well, and they're like half the price of the Chiron. And I really think in reality, you're not going to feel much of a difference driving the Veyron. This one's awesome. The kind of creamish white color with the white and red interior with an open top. I mean, I've driven a Veyron, but it wasn't a Grand Sport. I feel like with an open top, it's going to be a completely different experience. And honestly, it doesn't get more crazy than this. I think this is like ultimate vision of success as you're driving a Bugatti Veyron. Now, there's another hypercar here, but somewhat of a controversial, maybe not so controversial anymore at this point, but I would never touch one of these, and I don't think many people would, and I think that's why they're not really selling. Even though it has 1900 horsepower, this is full electric, and honestly, as you guys can see, these are not really on the road like those cars. They don't have the reputation like the Bugattis or the Paganis, because there's kind of no excitement in it, right? It's just, you press the gas and you go, and there's no sound, there's no nothing, and I think these are going to go away pretty soon, because as much as the performance is great, I just don't think companies can really sell $2 million cars that don't have a soul or don't have an engine. I think any day of the week, 99% of people will pick the Bugatti over the Pininfarina Battista. So this is something very, very special. If you guys don't know what it is, because I feel like now nobody really talks about Black Series anymore, unless it's the new AMG GT, which I don't really like, but V12 SL65, what they did with this, significantly wider than the regular car. The top does not come off, but this car has 661 horsepower. I think 250 of them ever made. I mean, this car is absolutely crazy. You never see them, and I do still think that this is the most powerful V12 you could get directly from Mercedes. Didn't even know this is, but it's pretty cool. And Noble, I don't remember if the same one we saw at Greenwich Cars and Coffee, but pretty nice to see 2 in 3 weeks. So this is very much my type of section. First of all, starting off, Ferrari Daytona. This looks awesome. Usually I see this in black, I'm pretty sure, so seeing it white is really cool. I mean, yeah, crazy Grand Tour, white wheels as well. I really, really like this thing. Oh, yeah. So we saw, I think, all of these cars in the last 3 weeks. So this is the Diablo Resto mod that we kind of saw at Car Week. We saw the Dream right now. We see it again here. Then we have the SSE Tuatara. We saw it 3 weeks ago at Greenwich Cars and Coffee. This thing was, I guess, the fastest car in the world for a little bit. Then there was a lot of controversy regarding whether or not the car actually did the speed they advertised. So I think originally the top speed that they advertised was 330 miles an hour, but then it got debunked or something. And then the official speed they ended up saying is 290 from what I believe. So still pretty fast, but not faster than like a Chiron Super Sport or a Koenigsegg Agera RS, or might have been the Regera or the Jesko, whichever one beat the record. But yeah, there's a lot of controversy regarding this car. Now we've reached my type of cars. So we have here the XJR15. I believe there's 3 yellow ones out of the 29 car production line. The rest of them are dark blue. 2 of the yellow ones are owned by the same guy, Cultivated Collector. The car is here. We've seen it before at Analog Rally. A lot of videos that we've done, we've seen this car before. Then behind that, guys, I mean, I would absolutely love an open headlight Diablo Roadster, and we got one right here. The Diablos are just peak supercar era. Everything about them is aggressive and great, and they still do work. They're a little easier to deal with than a Countach, but they look so freaking good. And then again, next to the XJR15, which these things are so rare. Only 29 cars ever made. Only 3 of them in any other color than blue, which are yellow. Then next to that, look at this. Diablo SV in pearl white. I think this is, I don't know if it's Bianco Fuji, but it's the same kind of metallic white. We saw this car in December at Greenwich Ave. Looked incredible. I think this is one of the best looking Diablos ever made. Maybe one of the best looking cars ever made specifically. I mean, this thing is so sick with the roof scoops and everything. Same thing, owned by the Cultivated Collector. And then we have this 4GT in the Golf livery with the orange wheels. Same thing as the orange wheels and everything on the 06 cars. Great, great, great car. And then I believe we saw this one as well at Greenwich Cars and Coffee 3 weeks ago. This is the Ken Miles Heritage Edition 4GT. This is one of the later production cars. And again, it's so cool that this guy actually drives the car, because most people that get the Heritage cars, especially something like the Ken Miles one, they don't really drive them. These cars just kind of sit in collections, usually sit beside the old ones as well, just on display, but this one actually gets enjoyed. So guys, we saw this yesterday, the Speedster. I told you guys, this is just going to be $1 million car. I mean, there's no way around it. Everything on this car just checks every box. And also this specific one, the wheels are carbon fiber. So they got the vintage look, but they're also carbon fiber. Jason, this looks a little familiar. Where would I know it from? I don't know. What do we think of people that own these?
They're great people.
Great people? I don't know. I heard different.
Great people, great drivers.
I don't know about that. Let's go look at your lip right now.
Mexico blue, though.
Ooh, Mexico blue.
Mexico black.
And we just saw the Speedster, and here at the very end of the meet, you know, we're literally, I don't even know how we got here, but there's another Speedster. So it's so cool to see two of them at the same place. Guys, this show just never ends. I mean, we keep walking to different places and finding more cars. We have this Guntherworks Roadster right here. Cream with a cream interior with kind of like a houndstooth insert as well. This is crazy. I don't think I've ever even seen pictures of this spec of a Guntherworks, but there's even more cars here. I mean, I don't know where this thing ends. Everywhere we turn, there's another lot. Like, when I say I keep finding cars, I'm not talking about like BMWs and stuff. Like, randomly, Aventador SV Roadster in white with the right seats. You got the carbon buckets from the Aventador SV. It's a very rare option to actually find on them. Most people got the comfort seats. Next to that is a Performante. I mean, the cars just keep going and going. But man, Aventador SV Roadsters, better than SVJ Roadster. You can debate me all you want, but this is so much more rare. 500 cars ever made, and I think it looks a lot better. I think they kind of over-designed the SVJs a little bit. I think this is going to be the car to get in the future. And look, we turn around, Ferrari FF, Aston Martin. I mean, crazy. Guys, I'm telling you, just when I thought maybe that's kind of the last I see of cool cars, I mean, it's not even close to done. What's in front of me, I can't believe I walked throughout here so far for like 2 hours, and I still have not seen everything, not even close. That the cars in front of me are crazy, but even now while I'm talking to you, look, another Aventador driving and an R8. I mean, yeah, let me go show you guys what's here, because this is probably the biggest car show I have been to. We got LB700 and an R8 that I'm guessing is twin turbo since there's no rear bumper. But as you can see here, we got some Diablos, and you guys know how much I love Diablos. So look at that. First of all, this is such a low-key spec SV because it's not a flashy color, it's nothing crazy, but obviously the wheels are SV and the roof scoops, that's what you can tell. And yeah, I mean, these cars are so cool. Obviously gated shifter, but man, Diablo SVs are where it's at. But then, just when you thought that might be enough, there's another Diablo right here, first gen Diablo in red. We do see a lot of this spec, but Diablos are great no matter what. Now, as much as I want to say peak Diablos right here, a purple SE30 Diablo, I mean, this is looks-wise what you want. This is such a cool car, but next to that, oh my god, it's not even done yet. Diablo GT, 1 of 80, the first open headlight Diablo. This is probably the most aggressive variant of the Diablo ever made. Look at this lineup of 4 Diablos: SV, a regular one, SE30, and a GT. Pretty much all the major variants are all right here. And even then, next to that is this Countach. This is crazy, honestly. I can't believe the show has such a crazy variant of cars, from like every BMW over there to Porsches to like XJR15s to these, and even a Yalpa right here. Like, this is, honestly, this is my type of show. This was definitely worth the drive. I was very impressed by the show yesterday, but this is not just as good. This is way better. This is sick. So that was a crazy trip with barely any sleep, but now we got the R34, the M5, and we're gonna head back to Toronto.